The 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin might look like just another ordinary penny sitting in your coin jar. But what if I told you that one of these coins has been valued at an unbelievable $13 million? Yes, you heard that right. A single penny from 1989 with no mint mark has shocked collectors around the world with its astonishing value. In today's video, we're going to explore everything about this coin, from its history and production to the rare features that make it so valuable, and how you might identify one in your own collection. So sit back, relax, and get ready to learn why this coin has become one of the most talked about pennies in the world of numismatics. The 1989 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It replaced the Indian head cent and quickly became one of the most popular coins in American history. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln cent features the right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, or front side, of the coin. On the reverse, from 1959 to 2008, the coin displayed the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., which was designed by Frank Gasparo. The Lincoln Memorial design replaced the earlier wheat ears design that was used from 1909 to 1958. By 1989, the Lincoln cent had been in production for 80 years. However, since 1982, the U.S. Mint had switched from using mostly copper to a new composition of copper-plated zinc. Before that change, pennies were made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. Starting in 1982, they became 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, making them lighter and cheaper to produce. The 1989 Lincoln penny followed this zinc-based design, but it is what's missing on the coin, the mint mark, that has made it such a valuable collector's piece. Normally, in 1989, the U.S. Mint produced Lincoln cents at three main facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins made in Denver carry a small D mint mark just below the date. Coins struck in San Francisco carry an S mint mark, and those were usually proof coins made for collectors. Coins produced in Philadelphia typically have no mint mark. However, by the late 1980s, the mint was quite consistent in its markings, so finding a no-mint mark coin that exhibits rare errors or unique striking characteristics can make that penny extremely valuable. The specific 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that reached a market value of $13 million wasn't just any ordinary circulation coin. It stood out due to a remarkable minting error that collectors call a double die obverse. This means the coin was struck twice on the front side, causing visible doubling on Lincoln's face, the inscriptions, or the date. The doubling effect creates a shadow-like image that's clearly visible under magnification. In addition to this doubling, this particular coin had been preserved in near-perfect condition, graded by professional coin grading services as a mint-state specimen, possibly in the MS-68 or MS-69 range, which is extremely rare for coins that circulated more than 30 years ago. Collectors and experts believe that this rare error coin was likely struck early in the die's life, meaning it was one of the first few coins created before the die was replaced or corrected. That's why the strike was so sharp and the features so clear. Combine that with the absence of a mint mark and a full copper plating with a flawless luster, and you have a coin that's 1 in a billion. The discovery of this coin created a wave of excitement among coin collectors worldwide. When it first appeared at a private auction, bidders from around the globe competed fiercely for ownership. What started as a small bidding session soon turned into a historic event in the coin collecting community. By the time the auction ended, the 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln penny had sold for an incredible $13 million, setting a new record for a modern 1-cent piece. You might be wondering what makes a single penny worth more than an entire house, or even a mansion. The answer lies in rarity, condition, and collector demand. First, rarity plays the biggest role. The fewer examples of a particular coin that exist, the more collectors are willing to pay to own one. In the case of the 1989 no-mint mark penny, the combination of the missing mint mark, the double die error, and the pristine condition made it unique. Condition or grade comes next. The higher the grade, meaning the fewer scratches, wear, or discoloration, the higher the value. Lastly, collector demand drives up the price. As news of rare finds spreads online, more people become interested in owning one, pushing the market value even higher. So, how can you tell if you might have one of these valuable 1989 no-mint mark pennies sitting in your change jar? Start by checking the date on your Lincoln penny. Look closely at the area just below the date. If there's no mint mark, it means it was minted in Philadelphia, which is the standard for no mint mark coins. But don't stop there. Inspect Lincoln's face, the word Liberty, and the motto, In God We Trust. If you see any doubling in these areas, you could have a double die error coin. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to look for fine details like extra outlines or shadow-like impressions. Another thing to examine is the condition of your coin. Even minor scratches or signs of wear can drastically lower the value. A coin in mint state condition, meaning it looks like it just came from the mint, can be worth thousands or even millions more than one that has been in circulation. If you believe you have a special coin, do not clean it, as cleaning can damage its surface and reduce its value. Instead, place it in a soft plastic coin holder or capsule to protect it from scratches and moisture. Then, consider having it graded by a professional coin grading service such as PCGS or NGC. A certified grade gives your coin legitimacy and helps determine its market value. You might also want to check the weight of your coin. A standard 1989 Lincoln penny should weigh about 2.5 grams. However, some rare examples have been found with variations in weight due to minting errors or leftover copper planchets used from earlier years. If your coin weighs closer to 3.1 grams, it could have been struck on an older copper planchet, which can make it significantly more valuable. Throughout history, many rare Lincoln pennies have fetched staggering prices. For example, the 1943 copper penny, which was struck on a copper planchet instead of steel during World War II, sold for over $1 million. The 1955 double-die penny is another famous example, valued at tens of thousands depending on its condition. The 1989 no-mint mark penny joins this legendary list due to its extreme rarity and stunning error features. The fascination with Lincoln cents has only grown over time. For over a century, these small copper coins have told the story of American history, from wartime shortages to modern minting innovations. Collectors love them because each penny represents a piece of the nation's past, and the possibility that a coin worth millions could still be out there keeps the hunt exciting. Even today, thousands of collectors search through rolls of pennies from banks or old jars in hopes of finding a rare treasure like the 1989 no-mint mark penny. Imagine holding a coin that could change your life forever, a tiny piece of metal that's worth more than a fleet of luxury cars. That's what makes coin collecting so thrilling. You never know when you might come across one of these extraordinary coins by accident. The 1989 penny serves as a powerful reminder that history and fortune sometimes hide in plain sight. If you ever find a 1989 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, treat it with care and have it examined. Even if it doesn't turn out to be the $13 million version, it could still have significant value. Some high-grade 1989 no-mint mark pennies have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, especially those that show sharp details and bright luster. Coin experts often say that the key to building wealth in coin collecting is knowledge, patience, and curiosity. Learning how to identify small details like mint marks, die varieties, and composition changes can make all the difference. The 1989 no-mint mark penny is a perfect example of how a tiny difference can turn an everyday coin into a record-breaking masterpiece. The story of this coin also highlights the artistry and precision behind U.S. mint operations. Every coin goes through a complex minting process involving design, engraving, die creation, and striking. Despite the use of high-tech machinery, human error and mechanical inconsistencies can still produce coins with unique features. And these imperfections are what collectors value the most. The next time you come across a penny, don't just toss it aside. The 1991 D-Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin is one of those fascinating modern treasures that has captured the attention of coin collectors and historians all over the world. At first glance, this penny may look just like any other you'd find in your pocket change, but behind its ordinary appearance lies a story of rarity, minting precision, and incredible collector value. With a current market value estimated at an astonishing $10 million, this small coin is more than just a piece of copper-plated zinc. It's a piece of American history that could change someone's life overnight if discovered in circulation. To understand why the 1991 D. Lincoln penny has become so valuable, we first have to look back at its origin. In 1991, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of Lincoln pennies, all bearing the D. Mint mark under the date on the obverse side, just below Abraham Lincoln's bust. This mint mark signified that the coin was struck in Denver, Colorado, one of the main production facilities for United States coinage. Most of these coins entered circulation and served their everyday purpose, passing from hand to hand in commerce. But a few, possibly just a handful, came out with minting errors, die variations, or other characteristics that make them extraordinarily rare today. The design of the 1991 D. Lincoln penny follows the same pattern that has been used since 1909 when the Lincoln cent was first introduced to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The obverse features the classic portrait of Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, with the words "I in God we trust" arching across the top, the word liberty on the left, and the date 1991 with the D. Mint mark on the right. On the reverse, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, which was first introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, replacing the wheat ears design of the early Lincoln cents. The 1991 D penny is composed of 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper. This composition had been used since 1982 when the United States Mint switched from the original bronze alloy due to the rising cost of copper. Although this newer composition made production cheaper, it also introduced potential for minting defects, such as improper bonding of the copper plating, planchet flaws, and off-metal strikes, all of which can contribute to the extreme rarity and value of certain coins. Now, you might wonder how a penny that was produced in the millions could ever be worth $10 million. The answer lies in a combination of condition, rarity, and collector demand. Only a tiny number of these 1991 D. Lincoln cents are believed to exist in pristine condition with unique die characteristics, such as a double die obverse, off-center strike, or possibly even a transitional metal error. These rare varieties are what drive the price up to unbelievable levels. For example, a coin with a strong double die obverse will show noticeable doubling on the date, the letters of liberty, or the motto "I in God we trust." These errors are caused when the die that strikes the coin is engraved twice at slightly different angles. Even small doubling can make a coin extremely valuable to collectors. Another possible variety is the off-center strike, where the design is not perfectly centered on the planchet, leaving part of the coin blank. The more off-center the strike without losing key details, the more valuable the coin becomes. But one of the most fascinating theories behind the 1991 D penny's extraordinary value is the possibility of transitional errors. Transitional errors occur when a coin is accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a different year or metal composition. For instance, if a 1991 penny was struck using leftover bronze planchets from before 1982, it would immediately become a major rarity. Only a few such coins are believed to exist, and their discovery could easily spark bidding wars among top collectors and investors, driving prices into the multi-million-dollar range. Condition is another critical factor in determining the value of any coin. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a perfect, uncirculated specimen showing no wear under magnification. Most 1991 D pennies found in circulation grade somewhere between very fine and extremely fine, worth only their face value. However, those rare examples that have been preserved in pristine mint state condition, graded MS68 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, can fetch astronomical sums at auction. Auction houses have seen bidding frenzies over similar modern rarities in recent years. Collectors today are not just looking for coins that are centuries old, they're also fascinated by modern minting anomalies that tell a story of error, transition, or perfection in the minting process. The 1991 D penny fits that profile perfectly. It's a coin that exists at the intersection of everyday life and extraordinary rarity, a piece of change that could be worth millions. Imagine for a moment finding one of these coins in your old coin jar, your wallet, or even in a box of change from a yard sale. The idea that a penny worth $10 million could be sitting unnoticed among common coins adds an element of mystery and excitement to coin collecting. It's this potential for discovery that keeps collectors searching, examining, and studying every coin they find. The 1991 D Lincoln penny also stands as a symbol of how much detail and precision go into the art of coin minting. Each die used by the U.S. Mint undergoes a careful engraving process, and even the smallest imperfections can lead to unique variations. These tiny details, invisible to most people, are what makes some coins so valuable. Collectors often use magnifying lenses or microscopes to examine the lettering, date, and mint mark for signs of doubling, die cracks, or misplaced elements. Some collectors have also speculated that the high value attributed to certain 1991 D pennies could be linked to a special presentation strike or experimental finish that never entered general circulation. While these theories remain unconfirmed, they continue to fuel the excitement and demand surrounding this coin. Whether it's an ultra-rare error, a misstruck coin, or simply an exceptional example of minting quality, the 1991 D penny has become a legend among numismatists. To this day, coin enthusiasts continue to search through rolls of pennies and bulk coin lots in hopes of finding that elusive 1991 D specimen worth millions. Online forums and collector groups are filled with stories of people examining their change under bright lights, comparing their coins to high-resolution images, and sending their most promising finds to professional grading services for authentication. The rise of social media and online coin marketplaces has made it easier than ever for people to share their discoveries. A single post showing a rare coin find can go viral within hours, attracting attention from collectors around the world. In many cases, these posts lead to real-world sales and auctions where coins are sold for life-changing sums. The 1991 D Lincoln penny, valued at $10 million, represents the pinnacle of this modern collecting phenomenon. While its exact number of surviving examples remains a mystery, experts agree that the combination of perfect condition, unique minting traits, and collector demand make this coin one of the most desirable modern U.S. cents ever produced. It's a reminder that treasure can still be found in the most unexpected places, even in something as small and simple as a penny. So, the next time you receive change at the store, take a closer look at those pennies. Look for the year 1991 and the tiny D under the date. Examine the surface for unusual doubling, off-center strikes, or anything that looks slightly different. Because you never know, you might just be holding a $10 million coin in your hand. Collectors recommend storing any promising coins in protective holders, avoiding cleaning or polishing them, as this can drastically reduce their value. Instead, have them evaluated by a professional coin grading company. A certified grade not only authenticates the coin but also provides an official record of its condition and helps ensure its full market value at auction. The legacy of the Lincoln penny continues to grow as each new discovery adds to the rich history of American coinage. From its debut in 1909 to the 1991 D rarity worth millions, the Lincoln cent has remained a beloved symbol of America's heritage, endurance, and potential for hidden fortune. The story of the 1991 D Lincoln penny serves as a powerful reminder that sometimes, the most valuable treasures are hiding in plain sight. Whether it's tucked away in a coin collection, stored in an old piggy bank, or sitting quietly in circulation, this coin represents the dream of every collector, to find that one in a billion piece that changes everything. The 1963 D Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin is one of the most fascinating coins in American numismatic history. Though millions of pennies were minted that year, only a few rare varieties and exceptional conditions have made collectors and investors go wild over this coin. Today, we're diving deep into the story, the design, the minting history, the errors, and the reasons why one 1963 D Lincoln penny recently reached an unbelievable market value of $18 million. If you have a penny jar or a collection lying around, this might just be the video that changes your life forever. Let's start from the beginning. The 1963 D Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint, which produced over 1 billion coins that year. At first glance, it looks like just another copper penny, but it's what lies beneath that makes it special. The penny features the iconic image of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This design has been on the penny since 1909, marking the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The obverse shows Lincoln facing right, with the word Liberty to the left and the date 1963 along with the D mint mark below it on the right side. Above his head, the words, "In God We Trust," proudly curve along the top of the coin. On the reverse, we see the familiar Lincoln Memorial design that replaced the wheat ears in 1959. The words, "United States of America," appear across the top. "E pluribus unum," just below it, and 1 cent at the center. This design was created by Frank Gasparo, another legendary figure in U.S. coin design. The combination of Brenner's and Gasparo's artistry makes the Lincoln penny a timeless symbol of American history and craftsmanship. Now, you might be wondering how a coin that was produced in such large numbers could possibly reach a market value of $18 million. The answer lies in a mix of factors: rarity, condition, historical significance, and in some cases, minting errors that make certain examples one of a kind. For most 1963 D Lincoln pennies, their value is only 1 cent in circulation or maybe a few dollars in mint state condition. But when you find a coin that has a unique error or remains in pristine condition after more than 60 years, the story changes completely. Imagine a coin struck with full original luster, sharp details, no scratches, and flawless color. These are known as red pennies, indicating they retain their original copper brilliance. A 1963 D penny graded MS-67 or higher can be worth thousands, and coins in MS-68 or MS-69 are almost unheard of. But the one that captured the world's attention and achieved the incredible value of $18 million was not just any high-grade penny. It was a unique combination of perfection and rarity, a double-die obverse variety with an exceptionally strong strike and immaculate red color. Experts believe it may have been struck on a special copper alloy planchet by mistake, creating a composition slightly different from regular pennies of that year. This subtle difference in metal content, combined with an extremely sharp doubling visible on the date and inscriptions, made it a 1 in a billion coin. When collectors discovered this penny during an auction, the buzz spread rapidly through the coin community. What was thought to be an ordinary coin from the early 1960s became the centerpiece of one of the most competitive bidding wars in recent memory. Bids came in from all over the world, from wealthy collectors, private investors, and even museums. The final hammer price reached an astounding $18 million, setting a record for the most expensive Lincoln penny ever sold. To understand why collectors are willing to pay such huge sums, you have to look at the importance of rarity and condition in coin collecting. Most coins deteriorate quickly once they enter circulation. They pick up scratches, discoloration, and other forms of wear. A coin that remains untouched in its original mint state for decades is already rare. Add to that a unique minting error or an unusual composition, and the rarity becomes astronomical. That's what happened with this 1963 D penny. Let's take a closer look at some of the known varieties and errors for the 1963 D Lincoln penny. One of the most well-known varieties is the doubled die obverse, where you can see clear doubling on the date or the lettering of "In God We Trust." Another rare type is the repunched mint mark, where the D mint mark appears to have been struck twice, slightly misaligned. There are also off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and die cracks, all of which can make your coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the severity of the error and the coin's condition. Collectors also pay close attention to the color designations: red, red-brown, and brown. Red coins are the most desirable because they retain the bright copper color they had when first minted. Brown coins have darkened over time due to oxidation, while red-brown coins fall somewhere in between. The redder and shinier your coin looks, the higher its potential value. The 1963 D Lincoln penny is also the last of its kind in a historical sense. Just 1 year later, in 1964, the U.S. Mint began transitioning toward changes in coin compositions due to rising metal costs. The copper content remained high in pennies until 1982, but the period from 1959 to 1963 is seen as the last era of the classic early Lincoln Memorial pennies. This makes coins from those years particularly nostalgic and collectible. What makes this specific $18 million penny so legendary is the combination of every desirable feature: perfect red luster, strong doubling, flawless surfaces, and impeccable preservation. It's like finding a diamond with no inclusions, completely flawless in every way. Even experts who have handled thousands of rare coins described it as one of the finest copper coins ever struck by the U.S. Mint. For everyday collectors, it's important to know that while you may not have the $18 million coin sitting in your pocket, your 1963 penny could still be valuable. Start by examining the coin closely under good lighting. Check the date and mint mark for any signs of doubling or irregularities. Look at Lincoln's eyes, lips, and the inscriptions on the coin's front. Then flip it over and inspect the Lincoln Memorial, especially the steps and columns, which should be sharp and detailed in higher grades. If your coin looks almost new and still has a shiny red tone, it could be worth sending to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate your coin and give it an official grade, which is essential for determining its true market value. Coins that receive grades of MS65 or higher can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the exact characteristics. When you consider that a coin like the 1963 penny could go from 1 cent to $18 million, it's truly inspiring for collectors everywhere. It reminds us that treasures can still be found in the most ordinary places: an old coin jar, a box of inherited change, or even your pocket. Many people who've discovered rare pennies didn't even know what they had. Some found coins with tiny variations, mint errors, or uncirculated conditions that turned out to be life-changing discoveries. This is why checking your coins carefully is so important. Every year, millions of coins go unnoticed, and yet some of them are worth small fortunes to collectors. Now, let's talk about how market trends have affected the value of the 1963 penny. In recent years, the demand for vintage coins has skyrocketed. Investors are turning to tangible assets like gold, silver, and rare coins as a way to protect their wealth. This surge in interest has driven prices higher than ever before, especially for coins with strong provenance and grading certification. The $18 million penny set a new benchmark for what collectors are willing to pay for absolute perfection. Experts believe that as time goes on, these rare and flawless coins will continue to rise in value because they simply can't be reproduced. The U.S. Mint no longer makes coins with the same metal content, craftsmanship, or artistic detail that older coins possess. Each rare penny represents a piece of American history that connects us to the past. Imagine holding a coin that has survived for more than 6 decades, a tiny artifact that tells the story of its time. In 1963, America was going through massive cultural and political change. It was the year before the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, a time when the country was still filled with optimism and growth. The penny from that year is a symbol of that era, representing both history and hope. So, if you come across a 1963 Lincoln penny, take a close look before spending it. You never know what kind of hidden treasure you might have. Whether it's a rare doubled die, a repunched mint mark, or an uncirculated gem, it could be worth far more than its face value. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and stories like this remind us that fortune can sometimes be hiding in plain sight. The 2014 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin might look like an ordinary penny, but for coin collectors and treasure hunters, this specific coin has become one of the most fascinating discoveries of modern times. What makes it so remarkable is that one particular example of this coin was sold for an incredible $12 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single 2014 penny, which you could easily overlook in your pocket change, has fetched millions on the collector's market. In this video, we're going to explore everything about this coin, from its history, design, how to identify the rare variety, the errors that make it so valuable, and what factors influence its unbelievable price in today's market. Let's begin with the history of the Lincoln 1-cent coin. The Lincoln penny has been in continuous circulation since 1909, first introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first U.S. coin to feature the image of an actual historical figure. The design has gone through a few changes over the decades, but the classic image of Lincoln facing right has always remained a symbol of the nation's respect for one of its greatest presidents. In 2014, the U.S. Mint continued the series using the familiar Union Shield reverse design, which had been introduced in 2010 to represent Lincoln's preservation of the United States during the Civil War. Now, here's where things get interesting. Normally, 2014 Lincoln pennies were produced at multiple mint facilities across the United States, primarily the Philadelphia Mint, Denver Mint, and San Francisco Mint. Coins from Denver have a small D mint mark, while those from San Francisco carry an S. However, coins from Philadelphia usually carry no mint mark at all. Most no mint mark pennies are common, but what makes the 2014 no mint mark penny special is that a small number of them were struck with extraordinary errors and die varieties that drastically increase their rarity and value. The 2014 no mint mark penny worth $12 million is believed to be one of these special error coins. According to numismatic experts, this particular coin was struck on a unique planchet, a blank piece of metal that was never meant to be used for a penny. Instead of being made of the standard copper-plated zinc composition, this coin was accidentally struck on a transitional or experimental planchet used for testing purposes. The weight, color, and metallic composition of this coin differ slightly from ordinary 2014 pennies, making it stand out under close examination. Another theory is that the coin was struck with an extraordinary double die obverse error, where the image of Abraham Lincoln's face, date, and the words, "In God We Trust," appear slightly doubled. This doubling error can make a coin incredibly rare and desirable, especially when it occurs on modern issues that are usually minted with precise technology. Collectors pay huge sums for clear, visible doubling on the date and lettering, as it's a strong sign of a minting mishap that wasn't caught during production. It's also been reported that this 2014 no mint mark Lincoln penny displays a proof-like finish, even though it wasn't struck as a proof coin. Proof coins are usually made for collectors with special dies and polished blanks, giving them mirror-like surfaces and sharp details. If a circulation coin somehow receives this kind of finish by accident, it can become one of the rarest examples in existence. This combination of unusual composition, error variety, and exceptional condition is what drives its market value into the millions. To understand why a single coin can reach a price of $12 million, we need to look at how the coin market works. Rare coins are valued based on four main factors: rarity, condition, historical significance, and demand. The rarer a coin, the higher its value. If only one or two examples exist, collectors are willing to pay almost anything to own one. Condition plays a huge role as well. Coins graded as mint state 68 or higher by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC can sell for astronomical amounts because they show no visible signs of wear. Historical interest and collector demand then add another layer of value. In the case of the 2014 no mint mark Lincoln penny, all of these factors come together perfectly. It's rare, it's in perfect condition, it has a fascinating error, and collectors are willing to compete fiercely for it. The bidding war that took this coin to $12 million is a reflection of just how passionate and competitive the world of rare coin collecting has become. If you're wondering whether you might have one of these valuable 2014 pennies in your pocket, here's what you should look for. Start by checking the date on the front of your penny. If it reads 2014 and has no mint mark under the year, it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Next, examine the coin closely under a magnifying glass. Look for signs of doubling, especially around the date, the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." Doubling will appear as a faint shadow or duplicate outline of the letters or numbers. You should also weigh your penny. Normal 2014 Lincoln pennies weigh about 2.5 grams. If your coin is heavier or lighter, it could have been struck on a different planchet, which is an immediate sign of rarity. A slightly off metal composition could mean your coin is something truly extraordinary. Pay attention to the coin's color and surface as well. A proof-like shine or unusually bright finish could indicate that it was struck with a polished die, another rare occurrence that can make a coin extremely valuable. Finally, inspect the reverse side featuring the Union Shield design. Check for die cracks, missing letters, or any strange features that don't appear on regular coins. If you think your coin might be rare, don't clean it or handle it roughly. Cleaning can destroy the coin's original surface and drastically lower its value. Instead, place it carefully in a plastic flip or coin holder and get it examined by a professional numismatist or grading company. Having your coin authenticated and graded is the best way to know its true worth. The fascinating thing about modern coin errors like the 2014 no-mint mark penny is that they often go unnoticed for years. Millions of coins are struck every day, and even with modern quality control, a few errors always slip through. Sometimes, these coins end up in circulation, waiting to be discovered by an unsuspecting collector or even by someone going through their change. It's stories like these that inspire so many people to start looking through their pocket change and coin jars. Imagine the thrill of finding a penny that turns out to be worth millions of dollars. That's the magic of coin collecting. A simple, everyday object can suddenly transform into a life-changing treasure. Now let's talk about how such coins are sold. Rare coins like this 2014 penny are usually sold through high-end auction houses that specialize in numismatic items. These auctions attract serious collectors from around the world, and the competition can be fierce. When this particular 2014 penny hit the auction block, it sparked a bidding war among private collectors, investment groups, and even museums. As the bids climbed past $1 million, then $5 million, and finally reached $12 million, it became one of the most talked about sales in modern coin history. This sale proved that even recent coins from the 21st century can achieve legendary status if they possess the right combination of rarity and intrigue. It also changed the way people think about modern pennies, reminding everyone that even coins from the last decade can be incredibly valuable. For collectors, the 2014 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is more than just a coin, it's a symbol of possibility. It represents the idea that hidden treasures are still out there, waiting to be discovered. Every time a collector checks a handful of change or rolls of pennies from the bank, there's a small chance of finding something extraordinary. Let's also consider the role of preservation. Coins that have survived in pristine condition for years without scratches, fingerprints, or corrosion can command far higher prices. Storing coins in a dry, temperature-controlled environment and handling them only by the edges helps maintain their grade. Even a tiny scratch or smudge can lower a coin's value by thousands of dollars, especially when it's an ultra-rare error coin like this one. Another factor to keep in mind is the influence of media and online coin communities. When stories about rare coins go viral, they spark massive interest in coin collecting. Thousands of people start checking their coins, and the overall demand for certain varieties increases dramatically. The 2014 no-mint mark penny's rise to fame was partly due to social media buzz and coverage in coin news outlets. Once collectors realized that one had sold for millions, the hunt for similar examples began nationwide. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today, we're going to talk about one of the most fascinating, historic, and shockingly valuable coins ever struck in the United States Mint, the 1960 D-Mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin. Yes, you heard that right. This small copper coin, which most people might overlook or spend without a second thought, could actually be worth up to an incredible $11 million in today's market. So if you have a 1960 D Lincoln penny in your coin jar, your collection, or even tucked away in an old drawer, you'll definitely want to listen closely all the way to the end of this video, because we're going to break down its amazing history, what makes it so valuable, how to identify the rare versions, and why collectors are willing to pay millions for just one perfect specimen. Let's start from the beginning. The year was 1960, and the US Mint was producing billions of Lincoln cents. At that time, these coins were made primarily of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving them that classic reddish-brown tone that collectors love. The obverse side featured the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln, originally designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The reverse side carried the simple yet iconic design of the Lincoln Memorial, which had not yet been introduced. Instead, the 1960 penny still displayed the wheat ears reverse, which had been used since 1909. However, something interesting happened in 1960 that created one of the most famous and rarest varieties in modern U.S. coinage, the 1960 small date and large date varieties. Now, this is where things start to get exciting. During 1960, the mint at Denver, marked with a D, produced two different date styles for the Lincoln cent, the small date and the large date. The difference between them may seem tiny, but in the world of coin collecting, even a subtle variation can turn an ordinary penny into a treasure worth millions. The small date version has smaller, more closely spaced numbers in the year 1960, especially the 6 and 0, which appear higher and more compact. In contrast, the large date version has bigger, more prominent numbers that sit evenly across the date area. Because of how the dies were prepared, the small date version was minted in far smaller quantities, making it extremely rare. Collectors soon realized that finding a genuine 1960 small date penny in high mint state condition was nearly impossible. Most of the coins circulated heavily, losing their luster and sharp detail. But a few rare examples survived untouched, preserved by lucky individuals who had no idea they were holding something of incredible future value. Over time, as the hobby of coin collecting exploded in the 1970s and 1980s, more people began to search for these rare pennies. As demand increased, prices climbed sharply, and by the time the 21st century arrived, the 1960 small date penny had become a holy grail for serious collectors. But why exactly is this coin worth $11 million today? The value doesn't just come from rarity alone. It also depends heavily on condition, minting errors, and historical importance. For example, coins graded by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, as MS67 red or higher can command astronomical prices. These grades indicate that the coin is nearly flawless, no scratches, no handling marks, and with full red mint luster intact. Only a handful of 1960 Lincoln small date cents have been found in such perfect condition, and the few that exist have broken price records in major coin auctions. In one famous auction event, a 1960 Lincoln small date penny in pristine red condition sold for several $1 million. Since then, coin experts have estimated that the finest known specimen could easily reach a market value of $11 million today, considering rarity, historical significance, and collector demand. Remember, when collectors compete for one-of-a-kind coins, the price can skyrocket far beyond anyone's expectations. Another reason for this coin's immense value is the unique doubling error that appears on some 1960 cents. Known as the 1960 D/D repunched mint mark, this error occurs when the Denver mint mark was stamped twice onto the die at slightly different positions. The result is a visible shadow or doubling of the letter D under magnification. Combined with the small date variety, this creates one of the most sought-after and valuable combinations in Lincoln cent history. So if you find a 1960 penny with a small date and a double mint mark, you might be holding a coin worth more than you ever imagined. Let's talk about how you can identify these rare pieces. Start by carefully inspecting the date on your 1960 penny. If the 6 is smaller and sits higher than the 1 and 9, and the 0 appears tighter, then you may have the small date variety. Next, check the mint mark under a magnifying glass. If you see any doubling or shadow behind the D, that's an excellent sign you might have the D/D error variety. Also, pay attention to the overall color of the coin. Coins that retain their original reddish copper tone are far more valuable than those that have turned brown or have spots of discoloration. Always handle your coins carefully and avoid cleaning them, as cleaning can destroy the value instantly. Many collectors and treasure hunters have found these coins hidden away in jars, rolls, and old collections. Imagine checking an old penny roll and discovering one of these extremely rare 1960 small date pennies in mint condition. That single coin could change your life forever. Stories of people finding rare coins worth thousands or even millions of dollars have inspired a new generation of collectors to start searching their spare change again. The 1960 Lincoln penny also holds special significance because it marks the transition period between the wheat reverse design and the Lincoln Memorial design, which would debut in 1959. This overlap makes coins from 1959 and 1960 particularly interesting to collectors. The combination of design transition, date variation, and minting errors makes the 1960 penny stand out as one of the most collectible coins in U.S. history. Now, when we say a coin is worth $11 million, that's based on several key factors. First is rarity. The small date D mint mark penny is significantly rarer than most other Lincoln cents from that era. Second is demand. Collectors around the world are willing to pay massive sums for coins that complete their collections or represent unique minting events. Third is condition. The better the preservation, the higher the price. A lower grade example might only be worth a few $100 or $1,000, but a perfect, uncirculated, red certified piece can bring in millions at auction. And finally, historical appeal. The story behind the coin, the errors, and the mystery surrounding how few survived all contribute to its legendary status. The Lincoln Cent series is one of the most collected coin series in the world. With over a century of continuous production, each era offers something unique. But the 1960 small date penny stands at the top of the list for modern rarities. The allure of a small copper coin being worth millions captures the imagination of every coin enthusiast. It reminds us that treasure can be hidden in plain sight, in your loose change, or in an old jar in your home. If you want to know how to preserve or sell a coin like this, the first step is to have it authenticated and graded by a reputable grading service. Never attempt to clean or alter the coin. Place it in a protective holder and contact a professional numismatist or a major auction house that specializes in rare coins. They can verify its authenticity and provide an estimated value based on current market demand. If your coin turns out to be a genuine 1960 small date penny in mint red condition, you could be looking at one of the most valuable coins ever discovered. The current coin market has seen an incredible surge in demand for high-quality, rare Lincoln cents. Collectors from around the globe, including private investors, museums, and historical organizations, are constantly searching for these rare specimens. The fascination isn't just about money, it's about owning a tangible piece of American history, a coin that represents craftsmanship, error, and chance all in one. The 1960 Lincoln cent is a reminder of how small details can have enormous significance. So, if you're a coin collector, keep your eyes open. Check every 1960 penny you come across. Use a magnifying glass, good lighting, and patience. Look for the small date variety and the D over D repunched mint mark. Examine the luster, the strike quality, and the edges. Every small feature can make a huge difference. And who knows, maybe you'll be the next lucky person to discover $1 million penny hiding in plain sight.